Uncensored event of the year. My name is Reverend Karen Frost, and I drove in from San Diego this morning from a CSL Diversity and Inclusion class I took this weekend. So I should be better prepared to lead diversity and inclusion than ever before today than I was before I got in here. And I'm so grateful for everything that we have going on today. I promise you all came to the right one. And so I am so grateful to announce Jamie Lula as our performer today.
Of the river of love, where the current runs deep, baptized in the one, where there's no separation and the light is all we see. Ignoring all our differences and love will set us free. Oh, Father God, every healing broken on. Compassion, faith, hope, and love and truth will set us free. Oh, Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. I said, oh, you rock my soul. You're sounding rather Catholic. Sing it out. Oh yeah, Mother, Father, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, there's a healing going on. I say, oh, you rock my soul. I say, oh, you rock my soul. I said, no.
Right? Didn't I already promise? And it just gets better, I'm telling you. This is the most powerful opening that I could think of for 2019. Since this is the best time for there to be a healing going on. And we're going to be getting deeper into that in a moment. Kristen, can you go to the next slide for me, please? Kristen is actually, let me just announce Kristen. Why don't you wave from the dark in the corner back there? Kristen came for me. I kidnapped Kristen this morning from San Diego while I was there. She changed her flight. It was a whole thing. It's a long story. But Kristen is one of the people that inspired Spirit Uncensored. I was at the Next Gen retreat with Jovi over here and Jonathan McCowan over here. And it really helped identify the vision of Spirit Uncensored came through based on my experience from Next Gen. So I'm so grateful that she's here to join us today. And at our conference, actually I'll get to that part later, I'll explain that in a moment. What I want to do first is really, as part of this healing going on, is to start with prayer. So wherever you are, I invite you to plant your feet on the ground, if that is comfortable for you. Take a moment to breathe into the body. If you feel so comfortable, close your eyes. And just really experience this present moment. Choosing to be present in the present. Recognizing that the present is always a gift. And we always have this opportunity to remember that the present is a gift. Whenever we choose, whenever we say, whatever's happening in the moment, we get to stop and remember that the present is a gift. So I invite us to take this feeling of recognizing the gift, the beauty of the present moment into the next moment, into the next moment. As we go through this experience of healing and releasing what no longer serves us from the year before and affirming something new for 2019, and maybe that's already been done, but we're doing even more of it, to recognize that this gift of the present is always with us, that we get to remember that whatever it is that we are choosing to affirm that happens over the course of this evening, we always have the moment to remember that now is a gift. Now is the time for me to appreciate who I am. Now is the time to know whatever it is that needs to be known. And so I am so grateful for everyone's decision to show up, to participate, to release whatever needs to be released, to know whatever needs to be known. And I'm grateful for the transformation that occurs because this decision has been made right here and right now. And in this place of gratitude, I just let it all be so. And let's all close together. I'm going to say it first, say the word first, and repeat after me. Amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Aho.
Aho.
Amin.
Amen.
Shalom.
Shalom.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Tracy Brown, who taught the diversity inclusion workshop that I went to this weekend, ended prayer with that by asking everyone to repeat that. And I put this up there because I knew I wasn't going to memorize it this quickly. But I had been ending our Spirit Uncensored prayers with, and however feels most comfortable for you. And that was just a really clunky thing to say at the end. And I felt like this was a perfect opportunity for us to honor all faiths, and whatever it is, whatever word that is, and if there is a word that's not up here, but resonates with you, feel free to say that for yourself as well. And also, because I just came from this diversity inclusion workshop, if there is a word you think should be up there, afterwards feel free to let me know. We have a community social hour happening at the end of this that gives the perfect opportunity for you to tell me what you think, and if there are words missing from this slide. Kristen, let's go to the next one. Apparently that's how I'm going to be doing this. This is my first time doing a slideshow, and as I said, Kristen's first time working with me, so this might be how it goes. The reason I'm doing these slides is because I don't ever remember to say, who is new here? That is not something I remember how to do. And so Connie will give you a card, and we've got pens now, because they're these handy dandy clipboards, and you can turn them into Connie after the event, and no, Connie's just going to give you a present and a card. We'll do it all at the same time. So when we do collection at the end, you can throw your card in the mix. Thank you for getting the mics, that's awesome. So raise your hand if you are new, and Connie will pass them around, and the cards are over there at the table. And let's go to the next one. Keep your hands raised. We can do, well, there's a lot of new ones, we can have more presents. If I don't have it all wrapped, we will wrap some more and get some to you. So So, also, now is also a really good time while hands are being raised and presents are being passed out to check in on Facebook. And this is also a new thing I've been doing. I decided to do a million new things today. We're going to take a selfie together while you have your hands raised. And I invite you to check in on social media right after we take this. Hold on. Everybody say cheese. Cheese. Let's try one more time.
Spirit cheese.
Alright. So that's going to go on the Spirit Uncensored stuff. And I have everything here for you to follow us. Feel free to take your phones out, take pictures, tag us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Those are our names. You can use these tags. You're getting some presents. All of those things are happening right now, and I'm so grateful for that. Let's go to the next slide, Christine. So I also made this, we never had a who we are slide before. And also stole this from Tracy Brown. This is what they have at CSL Dallas. So this is what I'm doing for now. And if you have thoughts about it, feel free to tell me afterwards. But let's just say this who we are statement now, because I felt like it expressed Spirit Uncensored is perfectly. We are a radically inclusive, let's say it together. So I'm just saying it by myself. Are you ready? We are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive community transforming lives. Let's say it again together. We are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive community transforming lives. Do you feel that in your bones? Do you feel that in your body? As you go to the next slide, Kristen? Wonderful. So, if you follow anything that we've been doing on Facebook, I've made several announcements that we're doing a 4 agreement series. And January is the first of the four agreements. And like all decisions that a minister makes, whenever a decision of, I'm going to do this theme for the month, that decision is made, it always unfolds perfectly. Life unfolds perfectly always. But this, starting with the first agreement, has been very helpful for me as well. So the first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. And originally, I looked at that agreement as really being what I say. I hadn't actually reread the 4 agreements as I was applying this to my life. In my mind it was, I am affirming everything that I say I mean. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to mean it. And in 2018, my wife and I, we actually do this every year, well, mostly every year. We participate in something called a burning bowl experience, where we release some belief from 2018 that no longer serves us and affirms a new one. We went through 2 burning bowls this year because the last 2 years we were sick, and this year we were like, we're going to really mean whatever it is we're releasing, we're actually releasing. And I was choosing to be impeccable with my word by really knowing that once I release this belief, it's actually gone. So the belief that I released, actually also at Seaside, where I was this morning, the belief that I released was the idea of beating myself up. I had noticed over the course of the year that I was mean to myself. There was nobody in my life that was being mean to me. And so I was like, oh, no one's being mean to me? Clearly I need to step in and fill this role. So I noticed that it doesn't serve me. What is the point? If no one else is being mean to me, why am I speaking to myself the way that I'm speaking to myself? Let me let go of this in 2018. Until 2019, I started the year with I was still on vacation from work. So I had nothing to, actually lots to do, I just wasn't doing those things. But I had nothing to do but be with myself, to pay attention to myself. And I just come from this meditation retreat at Seaside, so I was fresh from all kinds of reflection and had started my year in this opportunity to be in a meditative state. And noticed I was still beating myself up, even though I said that I had burned that up in 2018. But I recognized, of course, that just because I burned it up in 2018 doesn't mean that it just goes away. That on January 1st, it's like the end. And so I got an opportunity to start the week and paying attention to it, to noticing it. And every time I notice it, make a different choice. Because the purpose is not beating myself up. I cannot beat myself up for beating myself up. So I recognize that, and every time I notice that, see, it makes sense. That's why you laughed at me. I let it go. So eventually, basically 3 days ago, I actually picked up the 4 agreements and said, what does it mean to be impeccable with the word. If I'm going to talk about it, I should know what I'm going to say. I should know actually what the book says. What does the book say? So Kristen, show them the next slide about what the book says. The word. Being impeccable with your word. The word itself is a force. It is the power you have to express and communicate, to think, and thereby create the events in your life. I was thinking about being impeccable with my word from the context of meaning what I said, but I wasn't thinking about it from the context of the fact that my word creates. And so every time I was beating myself up, what I was also doing was creating a belief, really reinforcing beliefs about myself. It doesn't even matter if they're true. Like, over the course of this weekend, I left my stuff everywhere. I left a sock, you to go back for a sock. It wasn't important, but it was close enough to go back for, but I just left my stuff everywhere. And it is a true statement about me. If you've ever hung around me, you know chances are I'm leaving my phone in your car. Something's going on. And I can be someone that says, this is a terrible thing that I do, or I can be somebody that chooses to know that this is okay. I can be somebody that when I get my car towed, the moment that I get back in town, I get to know that it's okay. I'm grateful for the fact that my wife does not participate. Like I said, no one is mean to me. My wife was like, it's a good thing we're not working today. We could just go and get that car and come right back. It was a very easy way to get my car to the impound lot. But it was a wonderful opportunity not to beat myself up, but recognize that anytime I'm doing that, I am creating events in my life that don't serve me. I'm creating more opportunities to not feel good, to forget things more often. Because if I believe myself to be someone who makes mistakes, like parks my car places I shouldn't be parking in, I'm going to be that person. I'm creating those events in my life. And so, as we go forward with this evening of choosing to be impeccable with our words, I'm reminding us to remember that our words are creating the events in our lives. And it's not for us to judge the words that we use, because obviously the judgment just adds and compounds. It's that starting the year with noticing the way that we speak to ourselves, the words that we're using, the words we use about ourselves and the words that we use to each other are powerful. They create. And we have an opportunity to start this year together using powerful words, affirming words, words that empower ourselves and each other. So I'd like to invite us all to start this year from wherever we are on the 13th of doing that. Are you all interested in joining me in that? Yes? And using words of empowerment and affirmation? Yes? That's the whole reason Spirit Uncensored exists, is for me to remember that and for me to be in a position to remind everyone as often as I can to do that as well. So thank you for joining me and affirming that with me. So, yes. Kristen, what's the next slide? I don't remember. Fantastic, it's Connie's turn. Because we're affirming some things and speaking words of empowerment. Connie, come on up. Connie Tibbetts Miller, everybody.
Good evening. I was just talking with Donia a second ago and what should I do? So I guess I should probably do something meditative. What do you think? So I'm going to ask everybody to just feel the seat holding you. Take a deep breath. Feel that air filling your lungs. Close your eyes. When we close our eyes, we get to see things bigger and better, more amazing, exciting. What I'd like to ask you to do, with your eyes shut or open, in the most comfortable state you can be in this room, I'd like you to think about this past year, up to this moment included. Look at everything that's happened, everything you've participated in, all of your relationships, joys, thrills, sad moments. Allow everything to just drift in. Now allow everything to just be. breathe in. And we let go. And we're going to do an experiential on letting go. In the same state, I want you to think about the things that led up to this moment in this room. They could be considered constructive. They could be considered destructive, non-productive. What I want you to do is sort through those in your mind. And I want you to find the ones you are ready to let go of. They don't need to be labeled constructive or destructive or unproductive or productive. Just find those things that you are ready to let go of. You have completed your experience and your journey with those things. It could be one thing, 3 things. If we have time, you could write a book. And read those things. See them in your mind and allow them to move up and ready them for release. And when you are ready, you should be sitting next to a clipboard or at a clipboard. When you're ready, take your clipboard and write on the very first piece of paper that you see on that clipboard all those things that you are ready to release. And then you I'm mobile. I can get you one if you want me. Just going to give you a few moments to do that. And while I'm waiting, just going to offer some thoughts. And you've had an entire interesting new year just in this last week. It's been a week, right? It's been a week. I find that there are so many things that I had in my life that I loved. I loved, really excited me, really got me going. And I discovered, guess what? They were wonderful. And I'm so grateful to have had them. And I am so blessed to know that I get to release them to someone else to experience. I no longer leave them. So those went on my burden. So as we're finished, you can kind of give me a high sign. If you're not, that's fine. I'm not going to give you any lip about taking more time because you need the time you take. But as you're ready, give me a high sign because something fun's going to happen next. I'm going to tell you right now, I have 4 people who just came to the high sign. So those of you that are still working, please take the space you need. We're going to, we're writing what, the things that we're ready to release. Things we're ready to release. So as you were meditating, as you were contemplating, those things that you are ready to just be done with. Did I not say that? Not well. Okay, it's good. I need clarification. So those of you that are finished are going to follow me, and our illustrious leader is going to take my place here. What we're going to do is we're going to go straight out these doors next to where David is, and we are going to burn these days. We're going to let this stuff go, and when we're done, we're going to come in that door on the side.
So I was going to help bring you up one at a time so that it's not a free-for-all. Let's start with the first row here on my right. I don't even know my right and left. I'm terrible at yoga. stand here if you are ready. If you're still writing, though, feel free to keep sitting and go ahead out the front door. It's just straight out the front door. This row, since there's only 3 people in that row, this row starting with Karen Wood, if you all are ready. If you're not, feel free to keep writing. But you can stand and follow Donia out the front door. And let's do the Nada row too. I think we can handle that. The Nada row. Nada, if you're ready, or whoever's next to Nada, I forgot your name off the top of my head. Somebody just yell it out. What's your Janet? Yes, yes. And Archie, that row, you look like you're still working. So let's move on to the Sarah Rose Jovi roll. I'm going to stop. If I see pens moving, I'm just not going to even. Let's go from the back. Our seeming friends in the back row, you guys look extra ready. And Steve and Caressa, you guys look ready too. It's like I'm kicking everybody out the door one name at a time. Pageant, I love that you're here. Thank you for coming. Feel free to follow them out the door. And the Michelle row, if you're ready. The Nina row, same row that Michelle is in. I know, Michelle didn't move, but I motioned her, so that didn't help. I'm so grateful that Nina Chantel is here too. Nina Chantel is this amazing DJ that Nina, wait, come here for a second. Because I don't, tell me what radio station you're from.
Oh, I'm on Real 92.3 here in Los Angeles in the afternoon and in San Diego during middays. And I'm the female voice here on 570 AM LA Sports, the home of the Dodgers, Clippers, and Chargers. And thanks to Karen, I'm here today.
Thank you. I appreciate you just taking the mic when I put it in your face. Thank you for that. I figured that would work out. I met Nina because I heard her on the radio in Chicago, and then you've heard the story, so you don't have to hear it again, Nina. I'm saying it behind your back. Heard her on the radio in Chicago, and I was at the Boys and Girls Club Gala for Judy Productions, actually. There is a representative from the California Innocence Project that I also know from my job at Judy Productions. And so Viola Davis was being honored for her work with the Boys and Girls Club, and Nina Chantel was hosting the event, and I said, oh, I loved you on the radio in Chicago, and then I moved to LA, and you were on the radio here too, and it made me feel like I was at home. And she went, oh, that's so great, and now we're friends. This is why I love my life. So, anyone who has not yet gone outside, stand up and get out. So I'll tell you about this person from the California Innocence Project just in advance, because I don't want to tell this story later because it's not actually relevant to the service part. It's the reason why Judy Productions and the California Innocence Project have a relationship to begin with. We produced this show called Last Defense that was on ABC in the summer, and it followed 2 people who were on death row. One was, I'm on stage, so I can't remember their names right now. One was Julius Jones, and they, oh, do you know his name for me? It's Darlie Routier. It came to me. Darlie Routier and Julius Jones were both literally on their last defense, which is where the concept of the show came from. The California Innocence Project brought it to ABC News, and ABC News and the California Innocence Project worked together with Viola and our company to produce the show, and there have been some fun, good developments that came out of the show, and it really helped launch that relationship. And so the California Innocence Project honored Juvie for having produced that show, and at that fundraising event, Ronnie and I gave some money, and we also said, well, what else can we do? And one of the things that we learned about about people who've been wrongfully incarcerated while we were at this event was that when somebody's actually convicted for crime and they're released from prison, they get $200 in gate money, but people who've been wrongfully incarcerated don't get anything. And so not only have they not been in the workforce for as long as they were because they were in prison, but on top of that have that challenge of having literally $0. And so while we're at this fundraiser, yes, it's great to donate and help these people who've been wrongfully convicted, to have an opportunity for a retrial, but at the same time, it was around the holidays, and so Ronnie said, why don't we invite Spirit Uncensored to participate in a holiday gift drive? And so we did that, and Jasmine is here to tell us about the results of that gift drive that she'll do later. I'm also standing here waiting for more people to come back. What else do I want to say to you guys while I'm up here? You know what? I want to give you a chance from the half an hour that you've been here, or earlier times in other events that you've been to, I want to give you all a chance to say something. If there, like I said, if there was a word that was missing from the prayer list, if there was the amen, Amen, if there is something about who we are, if you have any comments, do like Nina and raise your hand and say what's up.
Thank you. I just want to say thanks for welcoming me, and thank you, Karen. But I'm here and I'm going through pain because a woman that's like a second mother to me is, I was taking her to chemo before I moved here to Los Angeles in Chicago. She is the mother of my ex-boyfriend that I was with for 16 years on and off, and she and I continued to have a relationship after he did me dirty and moved on. That's a side note. But she and I, very, very close, and I really need prayers for her because the cancer has spread to her brain, and it's the size of a plum and it's getting bigger. So if you could just please pray for her. Thelma Stonewall. Thelma Stonewall, it says she's one of the strongest women that you'll ever meet. And I just, the gentleman who was singing when I walked in, I felt it. So please pray for her because you know prayer is strong. Thank you.
Don't go away. Come here. Come with me. So as we're waiting for more people to come back in, there's a healing going on today. That's what we said is happening, right? So our friend Nina would like some prayer and support, and Ellen Contente, come on up here. John, come on up. Tonya, come on up. Archie, you look like you're moving. Come on up. All right, so what's happening is at Spirit Works, or the building that we're in, they have started this experience where in the middle of services, when somebody wanted prayer, they give prayer. And you have people, it's supposed to be 8 to 10, so I'm going to need at least 8 people here. These are the people that I called. So great, Kristen, yes, please. Thank you, Jody. And Debbie, yes, perfect. We have the perfect amount of people here. And so there's this idea that when 8 people, you put one hand on Nina, and in consciousness right now, we will all know the truth for Nina. Tell me the name of the person we're speaking of.
Thelma Stonewall Itson, and I call her mother.
Let's just call her mother. Let's just do that. So, Mother, Father, God, there is a healing going on that each one of us has come here today to experience some kind of healing. And Nina took the initiative. She had the opportunity to say, I am open to receive healing. I am open to receive prayer. I am open to know that there is a love happening here, regardless of what is going on right now. I know that there is a healing going on. And so I know that Nina's decision to allow that healing for herself, for Mother, for the family, was the perfect decision to have been made. And I know that Nina's decision is reinforced by God, love, light, the universe, Spirit, Mother, Father, God. That's what's happening here, is that healing is expressing, it's being revealed, it's being known. And so I am so grateful for this. I'm so grateful for the healing that is currently taking place, knowing that the present is a gift, as we said at the very top. And this moment, this present moment is indeed a gift. Jamie is knowing this as a gift. Everyone praying whose hands are on Nina recognizes that there's a healing going on. And each one of us gets to decide, gets to know, use the words to affirm that right now a healing is indeed going on. And so I am so grateful for the power of word itself. I'm grateful for everyone who's chosen to step up and know that there is a power in word, and knowing that a healing is going on when we all affirm this in prayer, that it is done, that Mother, Father, God hears, responds, reacts, that movement of energy creates an opportunity for healing itself to be revealed, knowing truth itself is being revealed right now. So I am so grateful for the love that is being expressed. I'm so grateful for the truth that is being revealed. I am so grateful for all of it. And in this place of love, I just let it all be so. As together we say, amen, so it is, amen, whatever word works best for us.
Oh, Father God, there's a healing going on. Father God, there's a healing going on. Father God, there's a healing going on. I say, oh, you rock my soul. I said, oh, you rock my soul. Oh, Father God, there's a healing going on. Father God, there's a healing going on. Father God, there's a healing going on. I said, oh, you rock my soul. I said, oh, you rock my soul. Both of my eyes said, oh, you rock my soul. Oh, Lord, you rock my soul.
Thank you, everybody. You can go to your seats.
So we're taking a deep breath. That's pretty great. So we're all smoky and ashy. Letting go of all those things. And here's the great thing about ashes. Ashes are a really great fertilizer for things that we plant that we're ready to take that next step into. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go do a little more contemplation, but you should have a second piece of paper on that. If that's okay, I have one. So let's just go into, once we get everyone settled with their clipboard, let's get into that place once more where we're just quiet. We allow the seat to hold us. We allow this moment to be perfect. And we open. We open big. We already opened big to let out. Now we're going to open big to let in. Now we're going to contemplate all those things, all those experiences, all the things and energies that we want to let into our lives, that we want to have more of as we take these next steps into this year, into this next moment. So just breathe that in. Smoke and ash be there for the finger for the light. Think of what moves me, what inspires me, what pulls tears out of my eyes of joy. It spreads a smile across my face. It fills my soul. It makes me trust this moment. It makes me trust that the next moment is there for me as well. Give yourself a moment to write down those things if you haven't already started. Go ahead and write those things down on this new piece of paper. It's fresh, clean, open, ready for the ink from your pen and paper. Allow the words to spread across this paper in triumph. In tribute for what is, to be what is. Now, just what is. What do I want? What makes me excited? What makes me come alive? This is going down on the paper because this is what celebrates who I am. It is my love that this is going to be a long list for each of you. Or at least a full-blown one. And I know there seems like there should be some end to this. We just burn those other things. Now what do we do? The beautiful thing about setting an intention, which is what we're doing with these lists, is setting our intention for what we plan to be as we move forward. One of the great things about setting intentions is we leave it wide open for whatever shows up to help us fulfill that. You may add to this list. You may strike from this list. It is Play-Doh. It is yours to change and change again. It is yours to enjoy and enjoy again, as long as it brings you to that space of fulfillment. As long as it spreads that smile across your face. As long as it makes your heart sing. So when you're ready with your papers, and not everyone is, gently, lovingly, hold it up to something comfortable, wonderful, and beautiful, and put it in your pocket. And put it in my hand over my heart. I don't have a pocket there, except for I usually set things in there because that's my pocket. These are nice and close to my heart there, so there's that. Some folks might have a pocket right there, but find a place that you can lovingly put this, so that at some point tonight, when you're going through your evening, you might put your hand in your pocket and go, well, that's an intention. This is what's going to make my life really exciting because I know where I'm going next. And everybody can just give to yourself for a moment the gift of allowing these intentions, allowing these thoughts to grow in your mind, your heart, your soul, so that as you move forward joyfully, confidently and powerfully. Please. Now I get to introduce Stevie Luna again. Yay!
Something's calling me. Something's calling me. My intention at the meditation retreat was to love myself unconditionally. So when Karen said what she said about not beating herself up, that's what's calling me. Feels like I'm walking on marbles. Can't still the earth beneath my feet. Is my head in the clouds, my naked legs left dangling. I can feel my heart begin to pound. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. A long dark night, my soul wonders. Can't see the light that moves me. God is everything in everywhere that I belong. Spirit gently wakes me from my sleep. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Oh Lord, oh Lord, pull me deeper than I've ever been before. Oh Lord, oh Lord, take me deeper than I've ever been before. deeper than I've ever been before. Peace is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Self-love keeps calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Patience and forgiveness, understanding, love and joy and peace. Testimony of my sweet release. Oh, everything keeps calling me. God is calling me, and I'm grateful like I've been. Thank you for calling me. Thank you for calling me.
Like I said, I did not read the 4 agreements until this week. But I was listening to Jake and Lula's music throughout the entire month. And Something's Calling Me was something that I knew that I wanted for this. Because I knew I wanted it, I was listening to all the other things and not that one. And I was like, let me just put this one on my way to work. So I'm driving to work, and that first line of, I feel like I'm walking on marbles, and describing this feeling of both feeling so uncertain and the world being shaking underneath your feet, but at the same time knowing that there's a faith underneath it, and just tears started falling from my face on the way to work, and that's just not something I do at 9 a.m. And so I was like, what's happening? But these words were just resonating in every cell in my body. And I was recognizing that I'm a minister. That's what's happening. That's something that's calling me. That thing is God right now. Why am I asking? Why am I crying at 9 a.m.? Something is calling me. And something that told me to turn that song on is exactly what I needed to know right now. And the reason that experience took me off guard is because my experience of ministry was a very passive experience. I went through ministry just for the purpose of really wanting to understand how the law of attraction worked. And the moment that I completed my ministerial career, the law of attraction, it was like it kicked in. It was like, okay, you graduated, here it goes. And I realized that the reason that it had taken so long for me to manifest what it was that I was trying to manifest was that I was supposed to be a minister. But it was just kind of like, why? What is this? Why do I need to be a minister? And it wasn't until I sat in that Next Gen retreat and realized that the purpose, the reason I am a minister, is because I recognize that the world is so powerful that one word can change a life or destroy millions of people. That's something that I understand. And I'm somebody who is actively dedicated to choosing words, both powerful words for myself, and like I said at the top of this, to inspire others to choose powerful words for themselves, to know that for themselves and also to know that for other people, as we all did for Mother Thelma in prayer earlier today. That the reason I'm a minister, that thing that's calling me, is because I keep picking up the phone. I keep saying, what's here? What's here for me to know? And what there is for me to know is that I became a minister for a reason. This is something that was an important part of my life and will continue to be an important part of my life because this is something that I understand. Let's go to the next one. So, Martin Luther King's birthday is coming up very soon, and my wife mentioned, she's been talking about these letters from Birmingham. She said somebody sent her a link, and so she's basically been quoting Martin Luther King to me for the last couple weeks. And that's the best thing in the world, to have a wife just quoting Martin Luther King in the back of my life, the soundtrack of my life. And so I said, could you send me those? Let me see what's in here. And she was talking about how these letters from Birmingham are quoted so often as really, what they were was a reaction to the fact that the clergy in Mississippi were responding to the fact that Martin Luther King brought people to Selma. And they were saying, you shouldn't be here right now. You need to be where you come from. What are you doing over here? We're doing our own Mississippi thing. We don't need you. And these letters were a response to that. And so he was talking about these ministers and his disappointment in them for the fact that they weren't doing something about the fact that the Jim Crow era was going on in front of them. They were just praying in their own centers and not really doing anything to mobilize people to do something, to take action. And so he wrote this in this letter. It says, we will have to repent in this generation, not merely for the hateful words and the actions of bad people, but for the appalling silence of the good people. And this is what I'm talking about with this idea of something's calling me. That I am in a perfect position to use my voice as a TV executive. I love the way Nina uses her voice. The fact that the positive word that she was spreading as the MC of the event that I was at the Boys and Girls Club, the whole purpose of this event was to use our voices to inspire positive change. And our coffee earlier this week was about that. It was about really leaning on one another and utilizing whatever resources that we can do to support one another and using our voices to create positive change. And so I use every platform I have to figure out a way to entertain, to inspire, to say what can we do collectively to inspire positive change. And one of those things that we did, I mentioned kind of over the break, and we'll talk about it again, the fire break that we're having, that the California Innocence Project was something that Spirit Uncensored came together to support people who've been wrongfully incarcerated. And so every opportunity that I have to say, let's use positive change, let me initiate positive change, let's do that. But regardless of what our jobs are, where we are in the world, many of us use social media. At the very top of this, I said, let's check into social media and see where we are. That's an example of using our voices for positive change. When we say, hey, I'm doing this cool thing exists, other people say, well, let me see what that cool thing is. And maybe they're inspired to make better and different choices in our lives. And so we all have an opportunity to use our voices. And many of us use our voices to complain publicly, among other people. Online, we complain about politicians. We complain about decisions other people make in our lives. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but what I'm saying is the internet is filled with people using words of hate. And I want to do whatever I can to inspire people to use their platform, however big that platform is. Whether it's a conversation with somebody in the grocery store, or your Facebook status, or your Instagram picture. Let's use our voices to inspire positive change. Let's use our voices to counteract people who are using the power of word in a different way. What's the next slide say, Kristen? This is all a surprise for me. Human progress, yes, because this is what I mean. I love this one. Human progress rolls in on the wheels of inevitability. It comes through the tireless efforts of men, this was men back in the day, willing to be co-workers with God. Co-workers with God. That whole idea of something calling me, that we are all working together. That the reason that we are here in this moment, sitting in this seat, allowing whatever it is that is calling us right now to come into form as us, is exactly what needs to happen. And our decision to shine our light, to be our truth, to support whatever it is, whether it's the California Innocence Project or any other kind of organization that we are so passionate about, that we are speaking up for and saying, hey everybody, let's work together to inspire positive change. Now it's important to me not to tell you what I think you should be doing, but to inspire you to identify what that thing is that you think you should be doing and tell you that you can do it. To believe that your word is powerful enough to initiate whatever kind of change that you want to initiate in your corner of the world. What's the next slide say, Kristen? Or I did a few of these because I was clearly digging these letters from Murray down, and I was like, no, I'm not cutting any of this. The question, this was in specific to, he was talking about Jesus being an extreme, because they accused Martin Luther King of being an extremist. And he was like, well, what about Jesus? Was he an extremist? And so this is what he had to say about that. The question is not whether we will be extremists, but what kind of extremists we will be. Will we be extremists for hate or for love? Will we be extremists for the preservation of injustice or for the extension of justice? I'm glad that most of you agree. What's the next one say? I think that might be the last one.
Yes! I am a spiritual slut.
So you know that about John. John posted a picture of himself in the shower reading the Four Agreements, because I said, send me your pictures of you reading the Four Agreements. And John really owns himself as a spiritual slut. Let me explain what a spiritual slut is. So, I got this from my mom. My mom identifies as a book slut because she is in all the book groups. She's cheating on all of her book clubs with other book clubs. And she said I should get a shirt that said this. And I realized that I'm in lots of spiritual communities. I am a teen mentor at the Global Truth Center. I am part of a conscious community group at Agape. I am installed as a practitioner at Spirit Works, on top of the fact that I lead the Spirit Uncensored group. And I also participate in Next Gen, which I've mentioned a billion times today. Kristen will also give you more information about that if you're interested, Jesse Contente. So, I realized that my being a spiritual slut was part of me being who I want to be. I am so happy because of the fact that I invested in myself. I found different spiritual communities that fed me in different kind of ways. And so as you are identifying that something is calling you, as we are affirming something specific in 2019, I invite you to play in different spiritual centers, namely this one. Because we're once a month. Like, integrate us as part of your practice. I say we are Second Sundays a million times. Put Second Sunday as a recurring appointment in your calendar, and don't do other things at 5 p.m. on Sundays if this works for you. So, as part of your spiritual practice, it could be whatever it is. I was saying over the course of this weekend that I am not somebody who wakes up in the morning at 7 a.m. and does any kind of specific spiritual practice. Me being a spiritual slut is the way that I do my spiritual practice, the way that I make sure I get the inspiration that I need. I know that because I am open to receive, that I experience the wisdom that I need. That's how I operate. Kristen was up in the morning journaling and being a good girl and making me feel like a bad minister in the morning. What's the next one say? I think that's the last one. I think that was it. So, I want to remind you, as I've said a billion times, that you are the light of the world. And Jamie Lula is going to remind us as well in his own beautiful way.
You're not bad, you're not selfish, you're not ugly, you're not broken, damaged, or dysfunctional. to yourself you are. Not the opinions of others, old sky. You are the world. Yes, you are the world. Everybody said, na 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 na. Words are simple. Na 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 na. Come on. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Let's do that again. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. You're not stupid. Lazy. You're not fat or too thin. You're not a big mouth, a cry baby. You're not a bully or original sin. You're not the things you tell yourself you are. Not the opinions of others or old scars. You are Make a joyful noise unto the Spirit of your life. Make a joyful noise unto the Spirit of your life. You know they say that a prayer sung is twice prayed. All the more reason when you're not feeling good about yourself to find an affirmation to change your mind. Make a joyful noise unto the Spirit of your life. Make a joyful noise unto the Spirit of your life. Make a joyful noise unto the Spirit of your life. Make a joyful noise unto the Spirit. Unto the Spirit of your life.
Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome, I'm sorry, just kidding.
No, don't worry about it. Condensate Miller, come on up. Condensate Miller. Do I have this here for no reason, right? You're giving me face because the slide's just here accidentally? Then let's move on to the next one. I don't even know. I just threw that in there. All right, I thought this was next. I was like, isn't this next? Jamie, actually, don't go far because you're going to be up here. Yeah, stay right there. So now is the time, in part of your spiritual solitude, to participate in that divine flow, to know that your participation, your financial participation in this experience allows it for it to exist. Jamie was nice enough to say that he would come here for free, but I would love to give him some money. That would be so ideal. And I'm grateful for that fact that he said, when I told him, he said, what are you doing? I said, oh, I've got the Spirit Uncensored thing. And he's like, oh, I want to come sing. And I was like, I don't have any money yet. And he was like, that's okay, I'll still come. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to tell people that this is me being impeccable with my word and telling you how that went down. So we would very much like to pay Jamie some money. And on top of that, this building costs money for it to be heated and all of that jazz. And people do things. So it's part of that participation. Not only do you create the opportunity for this to continue to exist, but the way that divine flow works, let's get some hats and move some stuff around. The way that divine flow works is that when you participate in that flow, it's a flow. So when you're like holding on to stuff and saying, I don't know if it's $10. Actually, Chris and I have been having this conversation a lot over the course of this weekend. It's this feeling of, do I hold on to this? Or do I let this go towards whatever it is that I'm thinking about right now? And it's recognizing that when you participate in the flow, it's always going to be okay. You get to always remember that as you give, you receive. And not only do you get that benefit of receiving, but you get to create a space and allow for a space like this to continue to inspire others. So I am so grateful for that. And as we are collecting, you know what, I just think I'm just going to pray now. I'm going to pray now. Because people always do this thing where they wait for all the hats. I don't wait for the hats to have the money in it. It looks like we're almost done. Let me just do that. Oh wait, I was being impatient. And really just knowing the truth for Spirit Uncensored, knowing the truth for each one of us as we have chosen to participate in this divine flow. Knowing that the money given goes forth to do some amazing things. It goes forth to create the opportunity for other people to be inspired, for all of those volunteers that are currently volunteering to actually get some money every once in a while to put some gas in their car and to do some good and feel good knowing that they, giving their time, they are getting to receive as well. That this divine flow is showing up in action in the moment right now. So I'm so grateful to know this, to speak this, to let it all be so as we close this prayer however we feel most comfortable. I'm going to say, and so it is.
I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. Every moment, every step I take, every heartbeat and every breath I breathe, I'm grateful. It's sacred, so beautiful. I feel your precious presence as my life. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. Come on, come on. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. Every conversation is an opportunity to see the light of love shine inside divinity. It's sacred, so beautiful. I feel your precious presence as my life. Now I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one moment of my life. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. I have so much more to be grateful than to be sorry for. I have so much more to be grateful than to be sorry for. I have so much more to be grateful than to be sorry for. Come on. I have so much more to be grateful than to be sorry for. Let me hear that sing. I have so much more to be grateful than to be sorry for. I have so much more to be grateful than to be sorry for. I don't care how old I am, or how much tumble down on your faith. Every reason to let my spirit soar, like a phoenix thundering out of its nest. Just see the storm of truth. I'm not stuck inside the illusion or the fantasy of you. As I rise and I sit and I pour beyond the walls I build, and I roar like a disc in my head, I sing through the door. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste, I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste one more minute of my life. I won't waste one more minute of my life. Waste, I won't waste, waste, I won't waste, waste, I won't waste, waste, I won't waste.
I love that I left this silly hat just in the middle of the stage. It is such a good thing I'm not beating myself up in 2019. What a big decision that was. I don't know, this was supposed to go on Financial Day. Obviously, hard room for growth around here as well. Let's go to the next thing. California Innocence Project. I've been talking all about it over the course of this evening, and now I am inviting Jasmine Harris to come on up and tell us about the experience of the holiday gift card drive. Woo!
Thank you so much for having me here today. This was such a joy and a great way to kind of end the weekend and start the week. So thanks for being so inviting and kind. It's so great that I got to meet Ronnie and have we've connected quite a bit over email and she brought me here. So thank you all so much for donating the gift cards for our honorees. Like was mentioned mentioned before, there is no good mechanism in place in California for wrongfully convicted people to actually get back on their feet. There's a compensation statute in California that entitles them to $140 a day of wrongful incarceration, but it's increasingly hard to get that compensation, unfortunately. We're working on laws at the Capitol to make that better, but it's a long process. One of the gentlemen I'll tell you about, Raphael, he's been out for 9 years, and he still hasn't been compensated for the time that he spent in. One of our clients, Tim Atkins, just got compensated, and he's been out for 11 years. So there's just not a great mechanism in place. As far as transitional services go, like Karen mentioned earlier, you get out and you have this huge gap on your resume, and people don't really understand it when you say, I was in prison, but I didn't do it. People are like, yeah, sure, that's what everybody says. A lot of times our clients take, newspaper articles that are written about them to job interviews to kind of prove the gap in their resume. So with transitional services, the only thing they're entitled to now is the same thing that parolees are entitled to, and they weren't even able to access those until last year when we got a bill passed. What we're learning about that is when they go to check in, and try to get these transitional services, they're treated just like any other parolee or inmate. They're called by their CDC number oftentimes, and it's just a very traumatic experience when they're really just trying to get back on their feet and they're kind of turned off by it. So what's happened at the California Innocence Project is, we have 8 staff attorneys, and then folks like me that started as volunteers 6 years ago or so, and we've kind of just become social workers, where we will help our clients find jobs, we'll work on resumes with them, set them up with occupational therapists or doctors, dentists, people like that, just to give them a fresh start. So that's kind of where we're at. So with the gift card drive, which was incredible, and it was right around the time that there was the horrible fires in Northern California, and I know you all raised for them as well. So we just appreciate everything that we got. And I just wanted to share with you some of our clients, what they did with the gift cards and just a little bit of their backstory. This is all on the tail of Thursday. We had our 30th exoneration. Quentin Morris came out of Folsom Prison up in Sacramento after 27 years of wrongful incarceration. Quentin's actually going to be living here in Los Angeles, so hopefully I can bring him to a service. I think he'd really like it. Luis Vargas actually spent 19 years in for sexual assaults he didn't commit. We were able to do DNA testing, and the DNA matched the teardrop rapist that's here in Los Angeles that's still actually out. He hasn't been caught yet, but Luis spent 19 years in for those 2 sexual assaults. He got one of the Ralph's gift cards, and he was able to make a bunch of dishes for his own congregation, and he took it for his Christmas Eve dinner at his church. Yeah, so he wanted me to share that with you, and he said, tell them thank you very much and God bless them. That was from Luis. Kimberly Long, who actually happens to be a very close friend of mine, and I think the ladies met her at the fundraising event that we did. She spent 7 years and 3 months in for the murder of her own boyfriend. She had 2 children when she went in. They were 5 and 10. This was in Riverside. She was a 27-year-old nurse, and had to come home and come upon this traumatic event. Her boyfriend had been murdered in their own home. It took them 6 years and 2 different trials to actually convict her. The first trial was a hung jury. The second, the judge said on the record that had he decided the case that he would have found her not guilty. That judge came out of retirement to hear the evidentiary hearing, which is the mechanism we use to get people exonerated, and reversed her conviction. The unfortunate part about what these people have to deal with on top of kind of putting their life back together, and Ronnie and I were talking about this on my way in. When your conviction is reversed, you're not acquitted, so double jeopardy doesn't attach to you. So the DA can stand up in that hearing and say, I'm going to appeal this decision, which they did in Kim's case, and we lost in the Court of Appeals. We have petitioned the Supreme Court of California, and they have said that they will review the case. The only reason she's out right now and is able to use gift cards and be with her kids again is because the original judge granted her bail. So essentially Kimberly is out on bail as we're kind of awaiting this going through the courts. If we win in the Court of Appeals, all it gets her is a new trial. So she's not finished as well. So the DA would have to dismiss the charges, or we would have to get a not guilty verdict in that trial. So Kim's still under the thumb and has a hard time. Every morning she wakes up and doesn't know if this is the day we're going to get some kind of decision, or she'll have to go back. It's really tough. So in the meantime, she also got a Ralph's gift card, and she was able to make Christmas breakfast. That was the tradition in their house for her two children, who are now 21 and 26. She's doing really well. She said, make sure to tell you, she said, thank you very much, and she appreciated having that opportunity to be with her children because of you all. Raphael Madrigal spent 9 years in. He's the gentleman that still hasn't been compensated. It was for an attempted murder. He was 50 miles away from the actual scene. There were time cards and production logs that he had been at work. He worked at a factory, and he was the only person that could work this specific type of machinery. And his lawyer failed to prove any of that in his trial. He spent 9 years in. His wife was pregnant when he went in. He has 3 other children. His other 3 children have now graduated college. He got to see 2 of those graduations. When Raphael was in, his father passed away. But he was very excited to have these gift cards and to be able to do a little extra something for his youngest daughter, who is now 7. She was born after he was released. So they got to get, he said they got a kit to make slime. That's a big thing right now. And then Guy Miles, another Los Angeles case actually, he spent 19 years in for an armed robbery, didn't commit. We were able to find the actual perpetrators, they confessed to it, we presented that in a court. The thing that he wanted me to share with you all is he got a Walmart gift card as well. Guy Miles was given an opportunity by meeting a person that we met at the fundraiser. Jason Flom connected him with somebody else in LA who wanted to give him a job opportunity. And so Guy started his new job in the beginning of the year, and he used the Walmart gift card to go get some non-slip shoes because he's going to be managing a restaurant. And so he just wanted to thank you all for that as well. And tell him that you really wanted that.
Thank you. So this is an example of how Spirit Uncensored is already being that change that we wish to see in the world. That these are all people I don't know. I work at a place. The place I work made a TV show. I was connected with this organization, and I used resources that I had to bring both visibility and financial contributions to it. And so it's an example of how any one of us can take anything, that we can use our word to create change, to whatever it is that is calling us to move a little bit deeper and step up a little bit deeper, do whatever that is. What's our next slide say? One day this is not all going to be a surprise to me. Like I said, this is me not picking myself up, and this is my first time playing with this. I changed all of my slides a billion times in the course of last month. But this is our absolute last song. And so this is a wonderful time to really experience what we are. I wanted to end with this song specifically because Spirit Uncensored is, even though I came from the Centers for Spiritual Living, I am an Emerson minister, and I think of myself as love is my religion, and this representation, Spirit Uncensored, being a place for love. It does not matter what anyone believes. This is a place where everyone, regardless of your religious affiliation, is welcome and is welcome to share your voice, share your ideas. Come to me when I'd like you to bring visibility to this, to some other issue that's happening. Just use your voice in whatever way. So Jamie, come on up and close us out. Thank you.
Thanks for having me here.
Thank you for being here.
I got to be at home at Agape this morning, and first service, Cicely Tyson was there. For those of you old enough to know who Cicely Tyson is, 94 years of age. Pretty amazing. She sat in the front row. In the second service, Martin Luther King III was there with his wife and daughter, and it was really cool. He got up and spoke a little bit. My son was looking, he was like, "Dad, that was Martin Luther King Jr.'s son that spoke." I'm like, "Yeah." Love is my choice. Love is my decision. I wish you peace. I wish you joy. I wish you love, 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 love. I wish you faith in yourself to reveal all that you've come here to be. Love is my choice. Love is my decision. Love is my voice. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. I wish you strength. I wish you courage. Wish you love, 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 love. I wish you purpose to create all your dreams and co-conspire with the light of your life. Love is my choice. Love is my decision. Love is my voice. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. Oh, your answers to eternity are always deep inside. The freedom of expression is yours to choose right now. Love is my choice. Love is my decision. Love is my voice. Love is my religion. Oh, love is my choice. Love is my decision. Love is my voice. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. Here you go. Love is my religion. Love is. Here we go. Let me hear you sing. Love is my religion. Love is. Come on, let me hear ya. Love is my religion. Love is. Oh, love is my religion. Love is. Love it. Love
Don't take anything personally. You can get started with that now with the discussion on our Facebook group. Spirit Uncensored is everything. There's a Facebook page which just has advertisements for the Facebook group are a way for you all to talk about your experience here, talk about from your experience reading the book. You can talk about how you are applying being impeccable with your word or not taking it personally. But January is dedicated to hashtag #BeIntegrity for being impeccable with your word. So please share that. Share pictures of yourself reading portraits, all that jazz. And I mentioned earlier there is a community social hour after this at Los Amigos on Alameda. It's kind of around the corner. Los Amigos, put it in your maps now. But I'm not running out directly afterwards. So if you're like, what is that again? Come hear me, come see me or someone else and say that. Thank you all for coming. I am so grateful.